infinite creators, I want to share something with you about the nature of expansion. I want to help you understand something that happens once you start saying yes to more of what you want. It's not just goal achievement. It's not just about another notch on your accomplishment list. It's spiritual and emotional. It is spiritual and emotional expansion. And it continues to feel light and exciting and buoyant and progressive. And it has everything to do with surrender. Letting go of most of what you thought you knew to be true about yourself and reality, because you're not seeing any reality that doesn't coincide with your version of your identity. And so it's about this surrender, but it's also a very subtle adjustment to your lens of perspective. And I'm going to drop this nugget in here, and I would really love it if, number one, you would take a deep breath and really listen to what I have to say about this subtle adjustment to your lens of perspective, because it has everything to do with opening up to and allowing yourself to be the version of you that you're always meant to be. And this little nugget of wisdom is going to land and seem so simple that it will seem false. It's going to be so simple that you're going to doubt it. And that's on purpose. Because the ego version of you isn't going to like to hear this at all. What I call your 1.0 version, your unconscious version of self. The identity that you created because you saw a world you needed to protect yourself against. The 2.0 version of you is the joy, the love, the abundance that is the truth of who you are, where it feels light, exciting, and expansive to be you, because this is the version of you that was fully intact before the world got its hands on you. This 1.0 version isn't going to like this little nugget of wisdom. That's the version of you that was always designed to be upgraded. So along with surrendering most of what you thought you knew to be true, which makes up your identity and this 1.0 version of self, this oh so subtle adjustment to your lens of perspective is about dropping the need to defend yourself and a version of you that was always designed to be upgraded. So take another deep breath in and really drop into presence. And just think about this for a second. The less you know to be true, in other words, the less beliefs you have, the less there is to defend, the less of a need you have to defend or protect yourself against some invader trying to, come up between you and that belief. The less you know to be true, the less you need to defend, because the less it is tied to your identity. Think of what makes up your identity. Everything you think you believe you know. Without that, do you even have an identity? I mean, it's also made up of your values and what has meaning to you, but those things are largely in place because of what you think you know. Now, I'm not inviting you to become some empty void space that gets kicked around by the waves and the motions and the winds of life. No. I'm talking about simplifying your life so much that you drop the things that you hold so true and dear to your being. Those are the things you're going to have to defend against. What if they're not even true? What if they're not even 100% something you really, really believe in your deepest heart of hearts? Maybe it's something that's part of like an inherited belief system. Maybe it's something you adapted to as truth because you thought you had to originally adopt it in order to protect yourself, defend yourself against a world that felt harsh or unkind or cruel. When you're able to drop more of what you know, you become aware of more of what is. In other words, creation is finished. Everything is here. What is available is everything. The trick is to fine-tune your awareness so that you're aware of more and more of what is available to you as an infinite creator, tapped into infinite possibility. Because once you do that, there's less of your personal energy invested in having to have reality line up with what you think you believe you know. And if you've been at this for a while, this spiritual awakening, your personal evolution, you'll realize how exhausting it is when you have to keep defending who you are. Well, who you are is largely a composite of what you think you believe you know, and most of it is rooted and anchored in feelings you still refuse to feel, and memories of events, situations, things that happened that you think belong to you. That's how identity gets concretized. But if none of that's there's nothing to defend against. And when you surrender that, you'll realize expansion has more to do with letting go what you're willing to let go of, and is less about what you are doing to make it happen. And as you do that, you're going to notice some interesting things along the way as you play with surrender, as you play with letting go, so expansion can happen. Expansion is really about making yourself available for more of what's here. The limits to that will always be based off of what you think you believe you know. And some really interesting things to note, the kind of metrics of the success that you're having with expansion. Just 5 things real quick, and I want to ask you in the comments if you want to know more about this, if you want to have an expansive discussion that I did in my new Human Blueprint group on School, and have this hour talk that it takes you beyond what most people talk about when they talk about personal expansion, personal evolution, improving yourself. This one goes deep, and I'll give it to you. If you put the word expansion in the comments, I'll just send you the recording, the audio recording on Dropbox. And if you like this content and you want to hear more of it, you're going to have to let me know. So kindly do me a favor and drop a like, drop that comment for expansion if you want the free audio, and subscribe to this channel, because not only does it help me help you, but it helps others who are like-minded souls just like yourself find this content and add to their own personal evolution because of it. So, these interesting things you'll find as you play with surrender. Number 1, you lose interest in things and people you used to identify with. And I go into this way more in depth in the audio. You experience waves of emotion with seemingly, quote-unquote, no explanation. Well, there is an explanation, and I share that with you in the audio. Number 3, your bullshit detector becomes the most highly functioning warning system, letting you know when, hey, your boundaries are about to be crossed. When you have that habitual line stepper in your life who likes to come and push your buttons when that person's coming around, when any of that energy starts to seep into your field, the more tuned in you are to presence, the more devoted and dedicated you are to expansion, your bullshit detector becomes very highly functioning and highly tuned. Number 4, you crave silence because you're no longer trying to escape yourself. In other words, you're feeling the feelings of what's there. Another thing that anchors our identity is having feelings about ourselves for so long that we've never bothered to investigate, meet, and finally release, that they are the things that are anchoring us like a weight like the Titanic on the ocean floor, pulling us down into a very limited, contracted idea of self that actually isn't even true. And number 5, you start questioning everything. And you get curious about what might lie beyond what you think you believe you know. And that's when you know you're in really juicy territory. And that's when you're at the stepping stone of expansion. So this discussion of expansion I shared with the new human blueprint, it's yours. Just put the word expansion in the comments. This is what we do in my group on school. So I'm going to have the link in the description of this video so you can go take a look at it. But that group was formed, and specifically off of Facebook, because I've constantly had my my content removed. I don't know if it's too provocative. I've been in Facebook jail. So on the school platform, no one messes with my stuff. We can say what we want to say in there freely and talk about the oneness model of unity consciousness without distortion or disruption or censorship. So my school, my group school, my school group, wow, is the new human blueprint. And it's designed to support your spiritual and emotional peace, your joy, the love of all that you are, in mind-expanding ways that really go beyond the pale, bland, recycled metaphysical teachings that are rampant throughout this platform and really any other social media platform, with a lot of misunderstood half-truths about the oneness model. We don't just talk about it, we live it. So if you're interested in that, please check out the group on school. Put down in the comments expansion, and I will be sure to send you that audio. Lots of love. Bye for now.